Guru Angurainame, Jugangurainame, Sadgurainame, Sri Gurudevainame. Angurainame, Jugangurainame, Sadgurainame, Sri Gurudevainame. Angurainame, Jugangurainame, Sadgurainame, Sri Gurudevainame. Hello, April. Yeah, my daughter is having a bath, so we're gonna have a little bit of like a ooh, you know, she's a chatterbox, so she never really shush. Yeah, guys, so April is here, and you definitely notice that you might feel much lighter, but don't really fool yourself up. Like, you know, we always have something to purge. So, yeah, I would say that some of us are feeling much lighter. So, I got a couple of messages that came in. I don't know if you hear that. Maybe you hear it, maybe not. It's kind of like, she's like that. The messages that came in are quite cool. What you can see on the Schumann resonance right now, that the heartbeat of Earth is actually very low. And even though you might hear other light workers or channelers or astrologers telling you that, like, you know, whatever is happening energetically, the proof is in the Schumann resonance, and we are being held by the extraterrestrials so that we actually can make the shift, because the heartbeat of Earth is actually very low. It's there, you can check it out. So it's kind of like a rain like lines from the top to the bottom. That's how we are being held energetically. There is as well a lot of upgrades are happening or happen to us, or will be happening all the time. Like every time there is this kind of rain, we getting constantly upgraded. So what you might feel like physically, the physical kind of sensation you might be having, or how it might manifest for you physically, there will be fatigue, headaches, stomach aches. You might feel like that you want to sleep more. You might feel like that you want to completely withdraw from the online or from like the outside world in general and go into the hermit mode. That's what I did actually. That's I always follow that kind of a calling. When I am being asked, my last card I pulled on Instagram was actually commute with source. So I automatically just, you know, disappeared, and I probably gonna be away for the full April. I'm kind of thinking about it to take like a offline for a full month. I don't know if you hear it, it's so funny. So I be definitely sitting with myself and being in hermit mode, and I need it. I think we, after especially the year before, like the last year, I am in this kind of weird state when I'm constantly expecting things getting energetically for me worse, and nothing is happening, which is kind of funny. So the body holds higher frequency already. We gonna be in a different levels in here, right? That will depend on the baggages you carry, or how much stuff did you accumulate it over the time, this in this lifetime or even in the past lives. But uh, we are more focusing on this lifetime, so more what you accumulated this lifetime, and you, how much did you get rid of, how much disillusioned you got, how much work you have done on your style, how much shadow work you have done, so that it will be really individual. You will see there will be so many differences now between the people who are awake. I'm having a little bit of a cough. I'm having I caught some cold, the regular stuff, because we had amazing days, and today it was snowing again, so we had like from going from 20 degrees to 0, so like a 20 degrees difference. It's a kind of a good jump. And yeah, I got sick a little bit, so I'm like, it's sitting on my chest, and like, but I usually have this is usually happening for me when after the upgrades, after more light codes entering the body, and more stuff, or more DNA is activated, and more rewiring of your brain is happening. I get a little bit foggy mind. That's what I had a couple of days. I felt like I am brainless. I usually say that I'm brainless. It's like you've got this feeling that you cannot formulate any of your thoughts or feelings. I just couldn't really. I felt very strange, like in this, like communication wise. So that might happening for you. You might experience that. That's all part of the ascension, you know. The human form is changing as well. It's not just the consciousness inside, but it's as well the human form. So you might be experiencing all sorts of symptoms, like physical symptoms, gut problems, inflammation, or you know, that will depend as well what you put in the body. This is very important. You know, what you put in the body is important. What you do, how you treat your body is gonna be playing a huge role on your ascension journey. But don't stress it out. Like, you know, you will be noticing that less you try to control how how the ascension is happening for you, better it gets, better it's gonna be for you, because you eventually are gonna get there, as I always say. They say you should not say that, but it is what it is. Like, you know, you will get in the energetic place where you're gonna feel much better. And what you might notice as well, that a lot of stuff is being asked of you to get rid of, or drop, or change the habits, or stop doing this behavior, or stop seeing this particular person, or engaging in these activities. That is one thing what is happening for all of us, and that's gonna be happening all the time. This is something what is I think it's a classical ascension stuff. Like, you know, higher you go, less possible for you is it gonna be energetically. You know, you be suffering energetically otherwise. So you be less willing to depleting yourself energetically. You will definitely find much better peace right now. I feel very peaceful. I feel very neutral. And even though I still have some of my stuff that I'm going through, but I would say energetically I feel very good, but I am eating as well very differently. I cannot have anymore whatever I used to have, let's say last year. That's blew my mind, and first I got angry that I cannot eat the pizza and I cannot eat the pasta and I cannot eat all the kind of things which I wanted to eat or drink, or like do all the kind of hedonistic human kind of a 3D earthly pleasures. I cannot do that. I cannot. It's just impossible for me. So that's what is that is happening for sure, like for the physical form. And like you might feel a little bit like a kind of a foggy after all the upgrades. But give it a rest. Like we purged a lot, and there's gonna be more and more and more people awakening now. So you be great in a greater assistance. You would definitely. That's what we are all being asked, to assist those who are in a different place, they are not there where you are, let's say, at. So they will need more information. So, and here comes the great thing to follow really everything intuitively. I have to say that I am no longer able to do a lot of things the old ways, even marketing myself or running a business. Like how to sit down and, okay, so now how I'm gonna market myself. It's just you just don't think about this anymore like this. You don't think about a lot of things the way you were thinking about it, like the old ways. So that's really that's happening when once you hold a higher vibration. It doesn't feel right, and it's almost impossible for you to doing the things the old ways, because you know how the law of attraction works, you know how the manifestation works, you know more about energy, and you know how the personal reality is created. And when you know that, it's very difficult to doing the things the old ways. So now here you come the flow and the surrendered state, and you know that you're taken care of, and sort of this kind of way of being that we are being constantly asked to live like that. It's not easy, it's this kind of being in the unknown and really operating from this moment and taking everything as it is and work with what you've got in that moment and navigating really from the source. It's like you will find yourself in this kind of a mode when you are being in the higher frequency, you will the old ways of doing things won't work for you. The same way it's like the business, the same way when you want to try to like work on some projects, you will not be able to schedule it and execute it the way you were used to do that. Practically, if you are on the frequency that requires your regular connection with the source, then you be operating really very differently. So that's kind of one thing what is happening quite a lot right now. And that's why I as well withdraw from the outside of the world, because I open up, started monetize my psychic readings and doing the card readings and stuff like that. But I did not felt that it's right somehow. So I withdrew from it just to explore what's going on in here with me, because I knew that I got this problem to monetizing my gifts, but I have this problem in general with my gifts, like all my gifts. So what is kind of showing up as well here for us, on the other hand, are people are coming into your life that will challenge you on your desires. That's what I noticed, like that is showing up for me for quite some time. That is something what we ask of us, to explore your desires, because we have been taught really wrongly about desires, because we have a really strange relationship with our desires. Usually people understand the desires that, if you're on the spiritual journey especially, they will tell you that you are not mature enough, that you just, because the yogis, they're always gonna tell you that you should drop your desires, but it's not possible. Desires cannot be dropped, and you cannot get rid of your own desires. And now what is showing up for us quite a lot are gonna be a certain people or events or situations, or you get triggered, or maybe a post or a person's gonna show up for you, like online, or article or interview, or you name it, a book. It could be anything that will kind of trigger something in you that is gonna be linked to your desire. And the desire is very important, actually part of the human journey. We really don't understand the desire really. I mean, it's a part of you. It's a part of you. You cannot get rid of your desires, and that's what's showing up for me when I became a mother. I always said that the day I became a mother, I died, and I did. I dropped my desires, and that was the end of me. And I became very unhappy because of that, because I'm taught, or I'm being brainwashed as well by the society and the standards, how you should supposed to be as a mother. You have to drop your desires because you have to sacrifice yourself for others. But that's not gonna work for me. That will never work. It's just impossible. Yeah, pay attention to like all the sort of like things that are gonna be like linked, or the people or events or situation that are gonna try to tell you something about your desire, about your unfulfilled desire. Because when there is unfulfilled desire, there is a massive suffering and a pain. And I became like in this beautiful pace with it, because I got a lot of desires that are not fulfilled, and I dropped them because of the parenting, because I became a mother, and it was like, okay, that's it, that's the end of me, that's the end of my life, and now I have to wait for 20 years before I can start fulfilling my desires. But it's not true, it's just a limiting belief. And of course it's a big tragedy as well for those of you, or for those of us, or for other people who are suppressing their desires, or they think they don't have any desires, which is not true. We all have a desire. It's a part of our journey, and it's actually your compass, and it's the desire is the life force in you, and it's the one of the biggest motivator behind all the human actions is the desire itself. And desire is like a part of your destiny. That's your compass to your destiny, practically. You cannot fulfill your destiny, or you cannot be on the right path if you don't follow your desire. That's what I definitely learned this year a lot. And so that's my guys wanting to mention that, because it is showing up for me, and I am really studying the stuff about the desire and how it works. I spent a couple of days listening other people speaking about the desires, and how the human is actually bonded to be merged with the desire itself, that you become one with it, because you cannot get rid of it. It's impossible. So I would like you to explore that bit, because that might be very interesting in April, because April is going to be very creative, and that's why I'm as well probably withdrawing a little bit out of the online world, because I'm an artist. That's my biggest desire, but I'm not trying to be famous or something like that. It's more that I don't care about like all the fluff, That's not me. I have never been the type of person. I just want to do the work. I mean, I'm just longing for that, to spend those days and those hours really creating. And April is like that. It's gonna be like this. It's gonna be very creative. So if you're trying to start some project, really dive deep into it, explore your desires, have a look on it, have a look on your relationship, what you have with the desires, because a lot of people are having a fear of their own desires, and there is as well a lot of clash in the relationships because of the desires. Let's say if one person has a desire and the other person is constantly telling that person that those desires are wrong, the person who has the desire suffer enormously, and that's tragedy on the human journey. So we have been more and more going towards the the wholeness, and the desire is a part of it. So yeah. So what is painful is the unmet desire. When the desire is unmet in a person, the person is unhappy, and it's really painful. So a lot of people as well think they desire something and they actually want something else. So, and there is always this kind of ups and downs when you have the desires, but I would say the desires are really part of our human journey, and we should not be afraid of them, and we should really know about what is someone else's desire as well. Because if you know what is someone else's desire, you would know the actions what the person is gonna take, which is brilliant. This way you will really know the person. You can kind of read that person more or less. Yeah, explore the desires, guys, because this is gonna be a major kind of a theme now in the April. And take your time away and really like sit with it, because we all have the desires. Even if you think that you do not have a desire, you do have a desire. You might have a desire to having certain partner, or relationships, like and I mean, it could be it could be friendship or family, it could be any kind of a thing. And then you might find yourself that you are actually accepting less than what you really want, because you think that you cannot have it. And I would like you to explore that bit, because that is something what is like subconsciously done to you through the childhood. That the messages that came in were clear. It was a childhood, desires, choices, because the choices you make, if the choices you make are always bringing you towards your desire, you are on your right path. But if they are not, if you're choosing less than, then you're gonna probably take a detour, but it might be even more damaging. It might be even destructive. Okay, what else is happening in the world? Yeah, we are in integration time. You will notice that the world, that is what is generally happening, is there is a massive information overload. People will have a problem to decide and to choose, because people don't like to making decisions. That's a kind of a funny thing. People do not really like to do that, and I see it like on the other people. I'm kind of this kind of observer. I'm really in this kind of observing mode right now. I do it quite often. It's a good way to be. You just don't react. You observe, and then you choose kind of certain actions around the topics you're experiencing. So yeah, there is a lot going on outside of the world, and it's always wise to take a pause and step back and observe what's going on for you in a quiet moment. And I think that's one of the best things to do, because usually when you submerge yourself into your sanctuary or into your inner temple, you shift way faster. That's definitely something which I learned a lot, and I did that many times. And every time I go online, I am constantly having the urge to pull back and go to hermit mode, but that's kind of my thing. Like, um, I like to be in the hermit mode. They always say that we are such a social animals, but I always like to be alone, and I have never been alone. I'm constantly being in the relationships since I was 17. On the other hand, what my guides want me to as well say is to make sure you pay more attention to your inspiration than to the reactions of the audience. I think that goes as well very nicely with the desire, exploring the desire itself. We got definitely a lot of psychic gifts, psychic faculties got activated for us, but there reveals always a need of that integration time, and you will have to a little bit explore it probably deeper. I bought a book a while ago about a astral projection, and it is blowing my mind because there are certain practices that I actually did not even know that are designed to get you into that kind of a place, and I have been doing it unconsciously. That's well, probably I'm being more guided to actually be doing it, or I was always guided to do that type of practices. So here I can see the universe in a bigger workings. Like, you can see how your path can be paved and something can pop in front of you, and if you grab it, you actually get there without even knowing what you're doing. So it's kind of like I am having this feeling now that I'm learning about what I have actually done so far, because I woke up about like 4 years ago, maybe more or less, and I was in the hermit mode because I had a Kundalini awakening, and that was for me was really heavy. So that messed me up so much energetically, physically. So I could not do anyhow. Actually, I had to really go to the hermit mode. It was almost impossible for me to do anything else than that. So now I'm actually learning like about what I have done, what I actually went through. It's now showing up for me. I mean, it's very strange quietness and in this silence. It's maybe it's because I was more than more than 3 years, 3.5 years in such a energetic distress, like physically. I had a really hard time to cope with the energies, and now it's this year, it's April already. So it's the first 3 months after such a long time I'm being quiet physically, even though I hear the energies, I hear the frequency, but the body already holds it and it's used to it. Well, now I suffered the low frequencies, so that's the opposite. The first stage is that you actually are getting used to the 5D gamma light, the higher frequencies, and then when your body is in a certain energetic frequency already, is it already inside of you, it's already holding it permanently, then it's very difficult to actually go down back and do the low vibe stuff. And I think that's why as well we are held energetically by the extraterrestrials, because otherwise a lot of us starseeds, how we could possibly make it energetically, because it's very painful for me. I always complain about this one. I call it my spiritual victimhood. That how could I possibly function physically in the earth plane right now when I'm holding so much high frequency? It's very challenging. I learned how to function. You find your ways, and also you will not attract that much of the low vibrational things into your life. More you strip the heck out of you. Yeah. So pay attention to your inspiration. That's April is perfect for that. So there is a healing happening, integration time happening. So it's gonna be, I'm tired. Sorry, I'm tired already. So I'm gonna finish up. There's a one more direct message that I wrote down, which I really found really nice. We should try not to love everyone, but rather try to understand them. Honor their own choices and their journeys, regardless of how it looks like or what do you think about it. Create your own universe that you feel comfortable in. Do not try to pull others in. That's not your job. Your job is to hold a space for it all. Be the observer, be neutral and compassionate and loving. Be good, have a nice April, and explore your desires. Take it easy, enjoy the sun, and if something kind of like pops, I'm gonna show up. So, namaste, my friends, and if you need me, you know where to find me. I always say that. If you want some card reading or some psychic reading, or you need some urgent guidance, just you know where to find me. I will respond, of course, and I will be available for those of you who really need me. So let go of everything what does not serve you really, and dig deep. There is still some childhood stuff, childhood trauma, suppressed desires, wounds. People are gonna be showing up for you. Try to find those links between that. If you don't know how to, drop me a line. I give you a hand. So, okay, I'll leave you at this. Be good. I love you. You're doing a great job. We are holding. We are doing it. We are all ascending, and we're doing it all together. So that's really nice to do. Be good. Bye.